Hey everybody, the Corvallis Business Network Visitors Day is just right around the corner. And so I wanted to give you a few tips, tactical advice, and some encouragement around why this is so important and what to do to prepare for it. This is one of the most critical things that we can be prepared for because we're able to accomplish in one meeting what might take 6 months to do normally. Visitors Days are a way to get exposure for the chapter, for your business personally, and most importantly, to fill the seats with the type of people that you are looking for. Why is that important? Well, can you think about the last time that somebody told you, hey, we've got this party to go to? Like, what's the first question that you're going to ask is, who's going to be there? And so a lot of times that determines whether you want to go and have fun at that party or how long you're going to stay. And so the people in the room are such a critical element of what we're doing with a networking group and how well we pass business. Having the right people in the room is 99% of the battle. And so what I want to talk with you about today is how we do that. We're going to cover things like what kind of people are we looking for? Why are we looking for them? How do you invite them? What do you do to prepare people for that? And there will be a series of these videos because let's face it, watching one of these for too long just gets boring. And that's not my goal, is to bore you. So let's dive right into it. So first of all, let's talk about who to invite. So in the chapter, there are open categories. Remember that we are category exclusive. So there's one person per category. And so a lot of times when we think about this, this is good and it's bad for a couple of reasons. Number one, we want the category exclusivity because then I know that all of the real estate referrals are going to go to the real estate agent in the chapter, and all the dental referrals are going to go to the dentist in the chapter. I don't have to choose between multiple people in the chapter, and then we're playing favorites, and some people get business and other people don't. It is you're capturing all the business for that category, which is one of the reasons that it makes the group so valuable. So the bad part of it, though, is that it tends to right away try and limit our thinking whenever we are looking to invite people to visit the chapter, because we just are like, well, I'm not going to invite this person in this sector because, we already have somebody like that. I want to invite you to kind of go outside of that thinking for this, because one of the great things that we do with Visitors Day is we gain exposure for our chapter. Remember that every single person who comes and visits the chapter, historically we've seen that they represent a certain dollar amount of business that's brought into the chapter. So even if it's somebody who's coming and they are a guest, not necessarily a visitor who can join, but they're a guest, somebody who gets exposure to this business network, sometimes they're looking to have a source to refer to also. Like, I know that I get pretty frequently people who get in touch with me just because they know that I have people to refer to, and they're asking, can you tell me like who's a good roofer in town, or who paints houses, or anything like that. So the more people that we can have in the room, the more exposure, the better. So I want to invite you to think of people, even if we already have a category that's represented. That person might not be able to join, but it's going to make an opportunity for exposure and growth. And that person might have a great idea in terms of somebody else who could really use those services. We want people in the room. The other thing too is that we definitely want to focus on getting the right people into the room. So don't just invite people who couldn't join or who could only just be guests, not really qualified visitors, but we want to think strategically about who we want to make sure is in the room. And there's a few ways to go about this. Let's take a look at this slide and remember the concept of power teams. So a power team is basically a group of businesses that are kind of like-minded or similar that might bring value to the group. So I just put together kind of a list of some power teams, like there's a real estate and home services, financial services, health and wellness, business services, event and lifestyle, and so on and so forth. And some examples of some of those potential invites or categories that we could use. I highlighted the ones that we already have. And then the unhighlighted here are people that would be useful in a power team like that. Now, it's not to say that these are the only people that you could refer to. Like, for example, I know that our realtor sends a lot of referrals to the trades and construction because, she needs to work on the curb appeal for a property or something like that. And so don't think that they're only going to benefit these people, but what we're looking for in these power teams are these are the folks that they're going to like maybe pass referrals to the easiest. So I put together this list of who they are and why they fit. So like, for example, the real estate and home services, like a property manager would be great, a home inspector, general contractor, electricians, plumbers, landscapers, interior design, cleaning services. These professions are constantly clients, buyers, and homeowners need multiple services like this. And so they integrate really, really well. So spend some time when you're thinking about who do I invite. Don't just go through a list of thinking about people that you already know, but think about who would be like a nice gift that you could bring to somebody in that power team. Maybe start with your own power team. So like if you are the bookkeeper, you might look and say, oh, okay, these are the people that in my power team, like inviting a CPA would be really great, or a payroll specialist or something like that. That would be somebody that'd be really great and valuable to my power team. But then also think about the other close relationships that you have in the chapter. Like maybe you're really good friends with the web designer. Start looking at that web designer power team. Well, man, if they had a marketing consultant, that would be really useful. Or, a business attorney as kind of a gift to those people. Those are maybe folks that you could look to invite. And so it kind of gets you, I think everybody's initial reaction is like, well, I don't know anybody to invite. But if you start thinking about it in this way, what would be a nice gift to give another power team or somebody in the chapter, then that makes it, I think, a little bit easier to identify who is it that we're going to invite for Visitors Day. And that's the thing is sometimes we think about Visitors Day and we're thinking, I need to invite somebody who is going to join the chapter. We don't get to choose for people whether they join the chapter or not, but we can choose whether we invite people or not. And then people can choose to come to the meeting. And so we shouldn't start with the goal of inviting people who are going to join. We should start with the goal of inviting people who we can expose to the group of professionals. The act of just getting somebody in the room is valuable in and of itself. If they continue interacting with us, that's a big bonus too. And if they join, that is the ultimate. Most people are going to say no to your invitation. Then of the people that visit, most of them aren't going to join. And the people that join, that is awesome. And the chapter grows and grows and grows. Think about it in terms of let's get people to the meeting and not worry so much about who's going to join and who's not going to join, because you will be surprised at who does. I'll give you a personal example. Early on in the Corvallis Business Network, I had to miss a meeting. That was very rare for me, but I got myself a sub, and it was actually my wife's friend. And so I asked her if she'd come and sub for me. I didn't even know that she had a business. She showed up. She subbed for me. Turns out that she sold essential oils. And when she showed up to the group, she was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. This is exactly what I need. And again, I didn't even know she had a business. She joined the very next week. And the very next year, she was the president of the chapter. And so you will be surprised at what happens just by getting people in the room. Some of us feel tremendous pressure to invite somebody who's going to be perfect for the group or is going to be a great fit. Don't worry so much about that. Let's just get the right people in the room, people that we can connect with, interact with, that we can refer business with, whether they join or not. And you're going to be surprised that a lot of that joining just takes care of itself. So let's talk a little bit about how to invite people. You want to keep it simple, authentic, and avoid sounding salesy. Again, you're not inviting people to join the chapter. You're inviting them to come to Visitors Day. So when you find somebody that you want to invite, keep it simple. Use authentic language. Avoid sounding like you're trying to make a sales pitch or something like that. And again, you don't have to invite them to come and join the chapter. You're inviting them to come kind of rub shoulders with some business owners in the area. When I talk to people about this, I ask them if they would like to meet some people in the area that are passing about $1 million of business every year. People say, yeah, I would like to do that, right? Whether they actually show up or not, that's another question. But lots of people would like to meet, especially if you have a business, if you have a business that's trying to grow. Lots of people would want to meet business owners who are actively passing referrals back and forth. That is where the gold is. People are looking for that opportunity. Whenever they're thinking about advertising or putting an ad in a paper or putting out a billboard, they would much rather have like targeted business referrals because everybody knows that word of mouth is best. And so an opportunity to be in a room where there's a lot of word of mouth business that's being passed is pretty darn enticing. So that's all that you have to do. A lot of times we feel like there's a lot of pressure to tell people everything about the group. Hey, well, we meet at 7 a.m. and it's over here and it's category based and we stand up and we do this and and you don't need to do all that. All you need to do is make an invitation. Like if I was inviting you to a birthday party, I don't need to tell you all the details of, here's what all the presents are going to be and this is when we're going to sing happy birthday and this is the flavor of cake that we're going to eat. Nobody wants to know all that stuff ahead of time, and they don't need to. They just need to know we're having a birthday party. I would love it if you would come. And people love birthday parties. Well, some people love birthday parties, and so then they show up. And so keep your invitation really simple and focused on the opportunity to meet and network with a lot of people. Especially if we're talking to a new business owner, one of the things that I like to point out is just how critical it is to have that skill of networking. And I don't care what your business is, networking is an essential skill for every business owner. And smart business owners are looking for those opportunities. And if you give a simple, direct invitation, then I think that a lot of people will respond positively to that. And then just leave it with a yes or no. Like, would you be my guest? Would you like to come to this? Don't leave it wishy-washy and open-ended where you're like, well, maybe think about it. And if it sounds like it might maybe be a good idea, get back to me sometime. Like you can email or call or, just send me a letter. No, just ask them a yes or no question. Would you like to come with me? Would you like to be my guest? Would you like to be invited to that? What you'll find is you'll get more people who say yes rather than just kind of hope that your offer expires so that they don't ever have to say no to you. So that is a really good tactic. And I'll share more as time goes on. You don't have to be worried about having to explain too much. In fact, the less they know, the better. Sometimes if people really press you for the information, tell them, listen, the best way to explain it is just for you to come and see. And if you don't want to meet people in the area that are passing the business, that's okay. You don't have to, but I really do think that it would be great. But if you're not interested, then that's fine too. And people get FOMO and then they're like, all right, fine, I'll come anyway. So that's it. A really simple, direct invitation where you're not explaining a lot of the things because really you got to come to the meeting to understand how awesome it really is. Give people that opportunity to show up and just see how great it can be. In terms of the people to invite as well, you don't need to invite people that you know really well. You can invite complete strangers and you will find that there are strangers who say yes. One of my favorite tricks was to go to like a coffee shop or something like that, and you see that bulletin board with all the business cards on it. And the people put their business cards on there because they're looking to get new business. They're actually looking for a referral. And so most of those people will want to have an opportunity to get in front of the right people to connect with folks because they want business. Sometimes I would pick those cards up. I'd take a picture of the bulletin board. I'd send kind of a cold email out to people. I might invite 30 people and one will respond or something, but I just basically ask them, hey, would you like an opportunity to be in a room with some professionals in the area that are passing about $1 million of business a year? I did this once, and the card was actually in a smoothie shop, and showed up to a meeting, and we're going around doing introductions, and we ask, who are you, and what's your business, and who invited you? And this guy stood up, and he told who he was, and that he was a window cleaner, and who invited him? He said it was me, and I was okay. And I had never met the guy, and he didn't even know which person in the group I was, but he showed up because he wanted the opportunity. And He was so impressed by the meeting, he joined at that same meeting, and he was a member of the chapter for a couple of years. You don't have to have a good close relationship with somebody in order to invite them to the meeting, certainly not to get them to come, certainly not to have them be interested and eventually join. Don't worry that you don't know a lot of people. You can invite complete strangers and they are totally welcome to come to the chapter, and they just might surprise you at who they end up being to you in the future. Okay, so in future videos, we'll talk about things like how do you prepare once you've invited people to the Visitors Day? Like, what do you do to help get them ready? What do you do on the day of Visitors Day? But here's the important thing. You need to start inviting now. From now right up until the day before Visitors Day, you can make an invitation all those times, but you are most likely to get positive responses if you start inviting now. The further away you are from that date, the more likely you are to get a positive response. So increase your chances of success by front-loading your invitations. Invite as many people as you can. Maybe make a goal that you are going to do 10 email invites and 5 in-person invites every single week until Visitors Day. If you do that, we will load the room with people that we can do business with, and some of them might end up joining. And when you have that experience, when you have that happen, and people are so grateful to you because you help build their business, because you help them to make relationships that end up being very important in their life, lasting a long time, it's an incredible feeling. I've been able to experience that several times, and it's one of my favorite things about being in the Corvallis Business Network. And so leave like a comment, talk about what maybe you've learned from this, something that you're going to try implementing. Let's encourage each other. Let's grow this thing together. A Visitors Day is going to be here before you know it, so start inviting now. Brace that, go.